Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Odin La Rouge Mystical Channel. Once again, I start out by saying please subscribe to my channel because you'll be able to catch up to where I'm at in the videos as far as lessons are concerned. You'll see part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and so you can catch up. And if you can't catch up, you won't be able to see what it was that I was talking about previously. Also, please go visit my website at www.odinlarouge.com so you can get to know who I am, what I'm all about, and so forth and so on. Because it would be impossible for me every time I start a video to tell again who I am. Today we're going to go back to numerology again, and I'm going to start by giving you guys the meaning of the cards. But first, I want to address certain things. First, I'd like everybody to have a moment of silence and please give prayers to Haiti, my country. And I'm not a political person. I'm not going to get into all that. I just want to let you know that if you don't know what Haiti's all about, please go and do your research. Please go and see what's going on right now at the moment. If you know Haiti's history, you'll be able to understand why these people are going nuts over there. And the thing is that every time something like this happens, it pushes the country back and back. You got these people tearing up these people's businesses, tearing up the streets. That jacks up everything because you got people that's trying to come in and out of Haiti for their families. Things are being planned, and all of that stuff gets pushed back. And it always goes back to the financial situation of us and of Haiti as well. The more damage you do, the more it's going to cost to repair, and it's just a vicious cycle. But that's also what happens when you take away from the people itself. And these people are so used to struggling, and it's sad because that's all they know. So when you get them and they're in these desperate situations, please understand that I'm not supporting damage, bandits, all this other kind of stuff. But I am going to defend my people. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that what they're doing is acceptable because it's not. But just think about us. For instance, like when the gas prices went up and they were going up 3 and change, they were going up 5 and change. People were complaining like crazy. And this is here in the United States. So imagine over there in a country where when you start out your day, maybe you probably have just enough gas to get up to pick up a load of people and to make them be able to get to their next destination. It's insane over there at the moment. So, like I said, just give a moment of prayer. And because that's at the end of the day, any Haitian will tell you that that's all they have left is Jesus and the spirits. I'm always going to say the spirits because Hugon Chris is all about the spirits. Okay? God first, and then they rule. So always understand that you will never hear anything else but that from my mouth. That's who I am. That's what I was claimed for, and that's how I'm going to die. Okay? The spirits, the spirits. Okay. Now, that being said, I know you guys were probably wondering where's my shirts and stuff like that. Today I came here with a little bit more relaxed and stuff like that because after a couple of days of lesson planning, I tried to figure out what is the best way that I could break this down for you guys where you can understand it. And I'm doing the best that I can because it's a lot of information. And these videos sometimes, by the time I look at the timer, it's already 5 minutes. I go back, it's 10 minutes. I don't want to make them too long. So that's where we at. If you go back to the other videos, you'll see where we got to the part where I was talking about feeding the cards and, charging them and stuff like that. Like I said, a lot of these things may not be directed to people who are just trying to understand the history of cartomancy or tarot, whatever the case may be. But what it is it's just showing you the difference in approach is how a priest and a regular card reader may approach a situation. My job as a priest would be to do the reading for you and try to see where it is that you're having the problem at and try to give you the best recipe or prescription, whatever it is, to take if you're having a trouble off of your mind by letting yourself allow God to help you through the situation and the spirits. You may not be a vodouisan. You may not be involved in that, nothing. But if you're having a problem with seeing your way through obstacles financially, obstacles in relationships and love, that's the prescription that at that time I'm going to give you. Like I said before, you go to a doctor's office, you're not going to get a doctor who's going to tell you he specializes in everything. He has to touch everything throughout his career, but he's going to tell you, I specialize in this. It's the same thing for us. You may come into a Hugon or a Mumble who specializes in love work, couples having problems, financial problems. We all have our different niche. And to sit there to tell you that is because I was speaking to my cousin a couple of days ago, and I was telling her how along the journey of you as a vodouisan, which is a spiritual servant to the spirits, is that as years go on and you went through a certain part of initiation or some type of seclusion for the spirits throughout the years, they mold your body, and people don't understand how to happen because they may have not went through it and they don't understand, or they just think that what I'm saying is maybe totally impossible, but it's not. If I can tell you where I was at 12 years ago or 15 years ago, it's not the same like how I am today. Okay, not only in my personal life but in this life. My ears, my eyes, my body has been just going through all these different changes, and I may not be aware of the change. I might be like, what happened here? What happened there? And notice that a certain area that may have been a problem for me before is a little bit more easier now. And that's them working their way through you, trying to give you what gifts and talents you have, if they can enter that area and help you through it. You may get an artist. All he does is draw the voodoo spirits, the veves, which is the markings on the floor. I call them the birthmarks of the spirit. Somebody who makes the bottles for the spirits, the libation bottles, the sequins, the cloth, just detail. That's somebody who's using the spiritual part of it and putting it into their art. You may get a singer who used to sing songs that didn't have anything to do with the spirits, but slowly through her progress and through the fact that she has these spirits involved in her life now, they may change. She may start singing better. She doesn't know, but all she knows is that if she looks at her life before she got initiated or before she went through some type of spiritual baptism, it's going to be different. It's the same thing with the people in the church as well. They're going to tell you that when on their journey through accepting God as their personal savior, they will tell you they are not the same person that they were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever the case may be. Understand it, research. I'm going to always enforce that for you guys, please. Pen and paper, always read. I tell my own family all the time, read, especially if you have downtime. Work on your vocabulary so that therefore if somebody's having a conversation with you and they're using certain words you may not be aware of, you'll be aware of them if you're reading. Reading gives you information. Sometimes there's a book that I tell you I read 4 or 5 times, and every time I went back to that book, I learned something different. Because when we process information, we go through all these different changes to process it. Where somebody else may say, oh, that's not no big deal. Okay, fine, that's you. I'm not going to go through life being what they say ignorant. Okay? I don't really like that word, but that's what it is. So, to say that, always open up your mind to receiving new things. Okay? Especially if you are a spiritual person, please open up your heart to receive information. I don't care if you know it already, because you can know something so much and then you can lose it as well. But you'll always get those reminders as you think about it. Would I tell you before that I ever thought that I would be able to read a deck of 52 cards? No, because I wasn't taught like that. 12, 15 years ago, they started me out with reading 32 deck, because that's the Haitian system. That's the cartomancy that's done in French and in Haiti. So this is the way the spirits, they work through you, and this is how they teach you with that deck of cards. It doesn't matter if it's the spirit or not. That individual has to know those cards. Clear eye, I call it. Okay? Meaning, we say, je clair, meaning that wide eyes, seeing it for what it is without the help. Meaning, there's not a spirit that you call that's doing the interpretation to do the reading. You may not be able to do that for everybody who comes to you for help. They're not. If somebody comes to you, you know that person is a vodouisan, they serve and stuff like that. Yes, you may be able to do it because they'll be able to understand it more. But as a voodoo priest and the voodoo priestesses, we have a way of for us to be able to get the spirit, is what we call to sit behind our back. Whereas they're going to enlighten us and they're going to make things clear. They're going to go and get information for us so that we can enlighten this person as to what's going on in that specific area in their life. Here's another thing too. Somebody said to me the other day, is every reading almost the same? Or how do we know if the reading is good? Let me tell you something. When I go to a reader to go get a readings like that, at that time, my job is not to sit across the table as a priest to that reader. That reader is doing something for me at that time as a server. I don't want him or her to just sit there and go into my spiritual life at that time. I want to know what's going on around me. Is the stuff that I can't myself be able to see and dissect. So it's the same thing with a doctor going to a fellow doctor. It's best that that doctor understands terminology, but at that time they're not doctoring themselves because they would have never went to another doctor. It's the same exact thing. And just because you go get a reading and certain things don't come up in that reading, that doesn't mean that that reader can't see. It has nothing to do with that. What it is sometimes your spirits, okay, and your spirit, that person is not meant to tell you what you think that they need to tell you at that time, okay? Your spirit sometimes allows you to know certain things in order for you to be able to control the situation in the best way. Because sometimes what we think may be good news or bad news to somebody else is completely different. And to give you a little thing about that, what if somebody came in, okay? She's dating this guy, okay? And in the beginning when they were getting to know each other, they both established that at the moment they both want to work on their careers, or they're both in school, they want to finish school and then start a family if they're still together, whatever the case may be. So let's say, for instance, this guy, okay, and this girl says, yeah, we're going to hold off and stuff like that. And so this is what they're going to do. If they happen to have, if they go and they're not protecting themselves, whatever it is, and she gets pregnant, if Is that, if that sounds like something that may be good news for you to be excited about for that person, that may not be good news for her. Nevertheless, not good news for her. What if it is good news for her, but it's not good news for him? Do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes what we think is good may not be good for somebody else. What we think is bad may not be bad for that person. We may see the person and the whole reading is upside down. That's good news for that person, because you know why? They were already aware of that, what was going on. They just needed somebody else to come in and to tell them that. It's very important. Today I didn't bring my little tablet to do the Q&As because I wanted to do this strictly to the numerology and then go into the meaning of the cards. I already see that I'm at 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start. And I tried to do this as easy as possible. And I just couldn't because I felt like it wasn't enough. But like I spoke to a couple of people, they told me, Chris, you're doing a great job. You're doing it to understand for the person who's not an initiate, okay, to a person who already knows or aware of what I'm talking about. So I just try to do it because that's that natural teacher inside of me. Ever since I was a little boy, that's all I always did was teach people. Teach people how to dance. Teach people how to do double dutch. Teach people how to do this. Teach people and I'm still doing it. Okay? So it just is something that's in me. Sometimes I say I don't understand, but I do understand. So like I said, please subscribe to my channel. Give me your advice. Give me your opinions about what you think. If there's something that you want me to talk about, please let me know and I will talk about it. Contact me if there's something that you in private that you want to talk about. If you need a reading, go to my website, email me, I'll get the message and we'll go from there. So in that being said, remember in my other videos I said, if you're studying and this is something that you're doing with a spirit guide, always light a little candle for you so that, once again, I say you put yourself into that bubble so that you and that spirit at that time, I call it, is in class, studying together. Because sometimes our spirit guides, for instance, mine, she doesn't speak English, okay? So she's talking in a way of letting me know what's going on with this person, but sometimes it's you can't translate it sometimes into English at that time. So that's why it's always important. And another thing too, I could do a reading, okay, and if you didn't write notes and all this, like, I don't know what you're talking about, because at that time in the reading, it's just a natural flow that just goes as soon as the card. And then I forgot everything that was going on because I wasn't the one who did the reading. So that's why I always say take notes. Even now, take notes, because there's lots of notes, lots of things to learn. So that means there's a lot of writing. The reason why I say writing, and because everybody texts, types, and stuff like that, but if you write something, by you doing that, you're charging yourself. You're charging your mind. And that information is being, like, it's shoved down your throat. And you're just absorbing it more, opposed to just ta 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 ta, and then boom, it's gone. No, write it over and over and over and over. Okay, so you can get it. Okay, that being said, I got my little card cloth here. Hopefully, if you watch my other videos, you have your cards ready now. You have your cards cloth now. And I'm hoping that you're going and you're learning with me and stuff like that as I do this. So, that being said, once again, like I said, we're going to touch on some numbers again. And then we're going to start with the meanings. About 2 years ago, I would say, about 2 years ago, I read a book, okay, that was published from somebody a long time ago, and it was from 1893. First of all, I was shocked that I even had that book in my library and that it was that old. Do you see what I'm talking about? And I never read it like that until 2 years ago. And then I was like, wow, the numerology that I knew before I read that book was not the numerology after I read that book. It was so mystical. It was so read. I mean, it was so written from a mystical, spiritual point of view, which is what I needed at that time. Which I'm gonna tell you, which I always need. But at that time when I got it, that's what I needed right there. And that's what I'm talking about with studying with the spirit and studying, putting yourself inside that study. Because the spirit has a way of sending you the information and you slowly start learning stuff that you didn't know the day before, the year before. That's what I'm talking about, being truly blessed and being given those gifts. You have to learn how to say thank you. Know when to say thank you. Because you know that it's a higher power that's sending that information to you because no one else gave it to you before. No one else gave it to you before. Maybe they did know it, but they didn't know how to tell you, or they didn't want to tell you. Or maybe they didn't know it, so they couldn't teach it to you. Or they didn't think that it was important for you to know. Whatever that angle is, that's on them. But you got to do your research as well. Because you can't sit around talking about gimme, 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 take, take, take. It's not going to happen like that for you. If you keep up that type of attitude towards your spiritual life, you will be in trouble. You will be in trouble. I promise you that. Be eager to learn. Be eager. Just like how when you had to go get your driver's license, you were eager, you were happy, you had to read the little textbook so that you could go and pass. That's the same thing with anything that you have to do. What I have to do may not be something that you have to do because it doesn't apply to you. But what applies to us, especially in when you're in spiritual life, you have to read. You have to learn. You got to go back and forth into your Bible. What may be your Bible may not be my Bible because I'm on a different path at that time. But when you in a situation where you want to help everybody, Spanish, English, Haitian, black, white, German, Russian, whatever the case may be, you got to put yourself in a spiritual study, in a lesson plan on a daily basis so that you can know how to be able to understand that information so that you can help somebody that you don't know. And if that comes from a numerology standpoint, that's how you're going to help. If it goes from a suit and a meaning in order to get a standpoint, that's what you got to know. Because we all dissect our readings in a different way. Everybody doesn't dissect it the same way. Somebody may dissect their readings within the color. What's greater than black or red? Somebody else may do it in numerology, highs and lows. Somebody else may do it between clubs to spades, spades to diamonds, diamonds to hearts. Everybody does it different, but at the end of it, you got to come up with a summary. You have to be able to tell that person what they came in there to hear. And they have to be able to take that information and say, you know what? That's what I needed. Or they'll walk out and say, I didn't need to hear that. Some people, they think that if they come in here, they sit, they don't say anything, that's a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. I'm going to tell you why it's not a good idea. Because you're coming in and you're trying to test somebody when that's not necessary. It's not necessary. You don't have to come in here to try to think about or figure out how much I can read or how much I can see or how much I can hear, whatever the case may be. You're only cheating yourself out of a good reading. Because a good reading is when the customer is involved inside that reading, telling that reader that yes, that's my mother, that's my brother, that's my sister, oh, that's my aunt. That's what it is. Because if you sit there and people are popping up and you say, I don't know her, I don't know somebody like her, you're not being helped. So when you go in there, yes, we all want to say, I want to see if they're going to talk about something, if they're going to bring something up. It's the same thing in the courts. When you see the lawyer drilling that person that's on the witness stand, that if that witness is telling lies and stuff like that, he's gonna get caught. Because that attorney is gonna come with every way they can to get you, for them to be able to let the jury and the judge know either you are a liar or you're telling the truth, and you're either helping the defendant or not. That's why I said it's just not about just the readings and the voodoo priests and all this other. This is with everyday life that these things happen. It's just that if you're not a spiritual person, you're not going to say, oh, thank you. You're not going to say, thank you, Saint Expedite. Thank you, Jewush. Thank you, Papa Ogu. Thank you, Pukuzen. Thank you, Donto. Thank you. You're not gonna say that because you're not in that part of the religion. But you're gonna say thank you, God. First of all, thank you, God. Thank you so much for being a part of my life, for giving me life. It always goes back to that. And it's sad when people don't understand that that's what we're about. So let's go to the numerology now, and let's get this cracking. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, we back to one. We're gonna go back to the one. Remember, I told you ones are beginnings and endings. You know why? Because once you go down the numbers, you only can go back to one. Because the king is considered 13. So after 13, that's it. In the cards, that's it. You got to go back to one. That's how we're able to know if this is a situation that's starting or finishing, because it's going to tell us. Two, remember I told you, cooperation, working together, a couple, a business relationship, a business meeting, something where there's two individuals doing, something that two groups are doing, something that two places are doing. It's always two, okay? Two can always also be a mother with child. You see what I'm saying? So it lets you know to what degree that situation or that person is at that time. Especially if you see a multiple of twos in the reading, you know that either this person is just starting to put their life together, especially if they're running solo. If they're alone, if they're not in a relationship, not with family, it'll let you know that they're just putting their life back together, especially if this person is in a situation where they're starting fresh or starting over. Three, the Trinity, the divine, okay? The Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, okay? God the Father and the Son. You see what I'm saying? So also you could do relationship, man, okay? And adoptive son, adoptive daughter, or a couple and she's pregnant, she's expecting, so that's going to make three. Basically, three is always where people are coming together and they're starting to plan outside of themselves, outside of the couple. The couple or the group or the situation is adding an additional to the situation. Four, the foundation, okay? Our beds, okay, have four legs. Our bed is a mattress, okay, that has four corners. A square has four corners, okay? Our car has four tires, okay? We have two arms, we have two legs, okay? So it's anywhere that makes something whole, okay? Also to that, is what God instituted. That's another thing too. See, the people outside of this study, or the people outside of this uh spirituality, they don't understand how we miss. Ouch. I'm sorry guys, my back. They don't understand how we mix, or how God is so into this. They try to tell us that it's not, but it is. Okay? And God created the four seasons. God created the earth, the physical universe, okay? The sun, the moon, the stars, the entire universe, okay? Also, he created the rested him and all his creatures. It's just so much involved in this. It's impossible for you to learn it overnight. And anybody who tells you that this is not a big deal, please run far for the hills, because it's not true. Doing cards, reading, anything like that, it's going to take some time, if not years, before you're able to sit there and say, I'm comfortable enough to do a full reading without no problem. Without no problems. Because the reader that I am now is not the reader that I was 12, 13 years ago. Do you get what I'm saying? We don't come into this without a study. Not one bit. Okay? And as all readers, we use our channel in different ways. We use cards, we use tarot, we use water, we use light. Whatever the case may be, that's what you channel. That's your area. So that you can channel what it is you need to do to be able to help that client in that situation. Okay? Remember, 5 is changes and movements. Once again, you're adding along to that foundation. Okay? God's grace. Okay? The goodness and favor towards others. Okay? 5 fingers. 5 toes. Okay? We need those. We need those. Even though people function without them, we need it. Because here we go with the changes and movement. It's allowing us to be able to go to get to 6. It's allowing us to be able to go to do what we have to do completely. Meaning we can change clothes without no handicap. We can walk without no handicap, to allow us to make changement and to be able for us to make movements. If you listen to what I'm saying and don't watch the video just once, especially if you're interested, watch it again and again, because sometimes it may not make sense to you when I'm first saying it. But if you process it afterwards, because that's what I do. I have my my fans. I mean my people that I love to watch on YouTube. I'm subscribed to their channel because I like the way they talk about whether they're working with the spirits or they're doing cartomancy or tarot or whatever. I like to see how they describe the situations, how they describe their meanings, how they decide. I love it because that's what I'm into. Because I don't think I know it all. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be surprised from who you can learn from. Because that just happens when you put your ego to the side. A lot of us inside the religion, we have an ego. Okay? Because we think that we are better than others. If you think that, you're sadly mistaken, sweetie. You're sadly mistaken because you don't know it all. You don't know it all. Number 6, earthly matters. Water, crystals, snowflakes, all kinds of stuff. Open up a tomato. Okay? You're going to see 6. Okay? Also, 666. Everybody identifies that with Lucifer, the devil, and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that because that's not my department. Okay? I am aware. I know what goes on. I'm just not going to discuss that at the moment. If you do want me to discuss it in further contact, I will. Okay? At the time. Certain numbers of these are mystical spiritual numbers. They are important to us readers, especially in certain chapters of the reading. It lets us know where that person is spiritually in their life. Okay? It lets us know. It lets us know to what degree this person is in. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're a newbie, whether they're getting there, whether they already there to where they understand what is going on with them spiritually. Like I said, just because you're a reader, you're a spiritual, that doesn't mean that life doesn't happen. It's ridiculous. Life does need to happen because you need to be able to say, I've been there. Okay, especially if it's something that a person's coming in that you aware of. That's for you to be able to sympathize with that person or to show empathy because you know where that person's coming from. Or you may have had other clients with the similar problem. And so at that point, you're able to understand what they're going through. Because if you go to somebody who doesn't know what you're going through mentally, or maybe even physically, it's hard for them to say, I'm very sorry for what you're going through. I don't understand it, but I wish you the best. Sometimes that's just not enough. That's what I was talking to you about earlier, is when you're in the position as a priest or priestesses in whatever religion that you in, because it gives you an idea of what that person needs to focus on to be able to heal or to expect what they need to expect from a particular situation. It gets pretty intense. It really does. Especially sevens, eights, nines, aces. All those things are very, very mystical numbers and cards. Okay? They tell us a lot about what's going on spiritually inside that person's life. Especially if the reading's being done for them spiritually, not from a private matter or not from besides their daily life, just about their spiritual life in itself. Okay, so we got that. All right, so let me go back to, if you go back to where we did the other day with the numbers, you'll see that I gave you the aces were beginning and endings. The twos was balances and unions, okay? Light, dark, black, white, masculine, feminine, okay? Numbers, they have that all involved in it, okay? Plants are masculine or feminine, okay? Our genders are masculine or feminine. Whatever the case may be, you're gonna have yin, you're gonna have yang, okay? Positive, negative, subtraction or addition. You see, there's always another side, you know, just like we all have our good side and we all have our bad side. Same thing, okay? Threes is the creativity, the communication that we have, whether it's spiritually or, you know, connected to us between somebody else or others. There's always, we're never going to not need three. Okay, because outside of ourselves, we're going to need somebody else, if not somebody else's. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I was telling you too, vocabulary is very important too as a reader. So all my readers out there, brush up on your vocabulary, because if you make a mistake in a reading and you're not paying attention to what line you're at, meaning past, present, or future, or presence, to presents, or to current, future, to further future, whatever the case may be. If you don't tell that person specifically where that situation is, you can make a mistake, okay? And once again, too, sometimes, here's another thing. Woo, this is so much. Sometimes people think when you get a reading, it's an ironclad. Okay, that means that there's a stamp on it. Nothing else can happen but this. That's not true. You got to be able to understand that's not true. A reading is a session where somebody that you know or somebody that you know don't know is consulting an oracle or a spirit or something that's higher than themselves, yourself, to be able to get an answer. Okay? That's what it is. It can make mistakes. Okay? You can misunderstand something. Okay? That's why I always say write it down. When you know you're going to get a reading, you don't have to write the reading word for word, but write down the areas that was touched on so that you yourself can know what you need to do, because we are human. We are. We not just this flight risk or this person that's walking around in the clouds. That's not the case. Because in order for us to be able to relate, we need to know what it's like to be on the other side. So we do make mistakes because we're not God. We're not God. We're not those spirits. You understand what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be able to say this is what's going to happen in the future, because it can change overnight. It could change within weeks. It could change within months. My thing is that it was brought up. When it does happen, I can say, oh, thank God I was aware of that, because that was in my reading. Because a light bulb is going to go off and you're going to say, oh, wait a minute. He did tell me that. Or she did tell me that. And look at it. That's what I'm saying. Or the person may be talking about something that's going to happen way down the line. I've done had readings like that before. I had a reading in 2000, I can remember. The lady told me that I was going to have my own business. I had my own business. I'm starting a new business at the moment. So what, did she make a mistake? No, she didn't make a mistake. It just didn't happen overnight like I thought it was going to happen, because at that time I was naive to it. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what a full reading was all about. Okay? So, fours, again, foundation, restrictions, stabilities. Fives, changes, movements, restfulness. Six is harmonies, choices, communication, ignorance. 7, mystery, challenges, stagnation, and spiritual. 8 is power, karma, health, illnesses. 9 is fortune, spirituality, completions, disapprovals. Think about it for a minute. Before 10 is 9. So if you think about it and you say for a minute, oh, I need one more thing and I'm done. That's what nines are about. Nines is about that, letting you know you almost finished. You're completing the project, or you're completing this part of your life to be able to move on to see whether you completed it or you need to go back. That's why nines are really great, because it lets somebody know, especially the reader, that this person is almost done and that they're going to be able to finish or get what they needed to get from a situation and able to grow or move on. Or if that person needs to go back a couple of times over and able to get to that part where they need to get the answer in the 10 that shows completions. Okay? Tens. Transformation, completions, and success. Okay? Just like I just said, it's to let you know that you have completed, or you need to go back and do some things over again in order for you to get the completions. Okay, so now reading a card reversed or upright, meaning that if the 9 is upside down or as if it's straight, the upside down part of it can let us know that, okay, you need to go back a little bit more on this situation, or that actually this 9 is not the 9 that we were looking for or that you needed to hear, because you got to go back, because that 9 is telling you you left some things that's going to be able to give you what you need to be able to go to the 10 where it's going to be completed. Okay? So some of us who do read, we don't use up and we don't do upright and reverse, because some of us are able to go around and see and look at the cards next to us, the cards on the side, the top, to be able to show what the whole situation is about. And then we use both. You know what I'm saying? So it works different for every reader to reader. How I do when I'm reading is because I like to read, I read both. I read straight and then I read up and down. So, and I always, in my mind, what made it easier for me when I was learning was that I would say, oh, okay, if the person is going forward, that means they're walking forward. They're looking towards their future. If that person isn't always in the back of stuff, they're living in the past. There's a lot of stuff that they haven't been able to let go yet to be able to move on, move forward. Then I said, because in my culture as well, that because we come from a country where things are always being put on our heads and stuff like that, we usually say the load. We call it the load. And it's where you'll be able to see in the reading if this person is responsible and if they're carrying themselves, or if they're irresponsible and they're stepping on stuff. Because as the cards go down, the person goes down, these are things that are happening underneath you instead of on top of you. If that makes sense to you guys. And then also, like I said, because if you think of the Celtic cross for a minute, if you see when you go and you put that first card, then you go 2, 3, you already just did that right there. And then you said top and bottom, and then you cross that card on top. You just did that right there with whether you know it or not. You done said, this is what's going on in front of you, this is what's going on behind you, this is what's going above you, this is what's going on underneath you, and this is what crosses you. It's the same thing as somebody lines their cards up that way in rows or across in rows. Okay, with the 21 card spread or the 32 card spread. It all depends on how you line them up, which I will be showing you as well as we go on. Here we go again. It's 47 minutes already, and I still didn't get to what I wanted to get to. But before you can read somebody's future, you got to be able to know who they are in their past. That's important because that's where, once again, we go back to our 9s and 10s. If there's stuff that's in the past that they haven't fixed or worked on or let go, how are they supposed to look forward? So it's going to be hard for you to be able to tell them that this is what they need to go do to get things done. So yes, it may be a row of the past, because some people, they use past and then they use past tense. Okay? The past is back. The past could be yesterday, a month before. You see what I'm saying? So it's different for every reader as to what they consider past. If I see that you had trouble in your past, and if I see in your present that past thing is creeped up, you got to go back. And to me, you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to do some road blocking, some open roads, some obstacle break candles. That's going to be able to, for you to open that door, for you to be able to get to what it is that you're trying to get to. Also, again, a lot of us, we say we're not good at math. That's not true, because if you're a reader, you're going to be good at math, because you're going to have to use those numbers sometimes to add, to break them down, to subtract, and to addition, to be able for you to get your conclusion on how you read your readings, because you got your your numerologist who reads with numbers in order to be able to read your do your reading. That's how he or she does it. She does it by numbers, okay? Whereas the ones who read all the way through reads with everything: astrology, numerology, past, present, future, all that other kinds of reds, blacks. All those things are all in the reading. It's all about the reader. Okay? Then here I did the number values. Okay? I did number value beginning aces and endings is equals to 1. Okay? I did 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 equals people, a couple, or a situation that requires or that is talking to you about 2 people, 2 groups, or a situation where there's 2 people involved. Okay? And then if you break it down and then you see that thing comes back down to 1, you know this person is right back where they started. Not going to be able to move further on. Are 3s. Okay? 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. People or 2, a couple makes a baby. That's considered 3 of them. They're a trinity at that part because they're trying to create. As a matter of fact, they are creating a family. And if she has another kid, they're gonna go and it's gonna be a 4 now, and that's gonna be their foundation. Because what if she says that's it? I have what I need. I have my boy, I have my boy or my girl, or I have my daughters, or I have my sons. She's complete. She feels complete. She will fall into a 4. And you will see her reading, you're going to see multiples of 4. When you see that, let's not even talk about the wife or the husband with the family. What about if this is somebody who's single, don't have a family? Okay, that person has created stability for themselves to have all those 4s. He or she is stable. Okay, they have their income, they have their home, they have their possessions. They're complete. But now, if the 4s come upside down, there is things that they need to do or to get in order for them to have a successful stability, a foundation. You see, no matter how I say it, and I've tried to write it so many different ways, it's always going to come back to almost common sense, if that's the right way to say it. You're going to have to use common sense after a while, because in order sometimes for us to make sense of things, you have to have that wisdom, that intuition, especially as a reader. You have to use your intuition sometime to be able to explain to somebody that this is what's going on. Because you got some people, we call them ballers. As soon as they hear the little bit of bad news, they break down. They break the hell down. And sometimes I'm looking at you because I'm shocked. Is this to what you're crying about? And I'm trying to figure out, as if you let me finish, we may be able to come with a solution, or like I say, a prescription to get you to be able to get off this hurdle. They don't care. They just cry and they cry. Then you got your ones who come in and they're sure. They're very sure, confident, and they needed you to assert them in that reading. And those are great ones too. But they also, sometimes they break down. We all got this issue with self-esteem. We all got that stuff. Don't believe anybody when they tell you that they're confident all around in their life. Impossible. That if that was the case, that means life is perfect, and it's not. Okay, 5. 3 plus 2 equals 5, or 4 plus 1 equals 5. Once again, like I said earlier, foundation and then moving on. 6. 2 plus 4 equals 6, or 3 plus 3 equals 6, or 5 plus 1. So, when I start breaking down the cards to you, I'm going to show you when I say 5 plus 1. Okay? Say, for instance, this 5 right here. I'm just giving you an example of how, if I had to break it down number-wise, what it would give me. 5 plus 1, which is the ace, right here, will make 6 for me. 6 will be able to tell me where you at in that current situation that we're talking about. Or if this means that you're just beginning about this situation that's happening right here, and how positive, if it's going to turn out for you that way. That 6 will show me what elevation that you are at is as to what's going on in that situation. Whether you're having success in there, whether you're having luck in there, or whether you're at roadblocks. It's going to be able to tell me that. Because when you're a reader and when you're doing readings, the cards, they come together. They're read together. 1 plus 2 talks about 1. 3 talks about 2. 4 talks about 3. That's how it goes. Somebody may say to you, "Oh God, I don't do it that way." I don't care how you do it. I'm just giving you some more information. As long as you're able to give a summary and a story to that client, I don't care how you do it. But me, I'm going to throw everything in there that I know. And whether I see to myself that that's how I did it through numerology or astrology to get to the point, as long as I got there, that's my concern. All right, so I don't even need to tell you how you go to 6 plus 1 is 7, 5 plus 2 is 7, 4 plus 3 is 7. If the reading comes back to all 7, that's going to let me know to where you at mystically or where you at as far as, let's see, as far as you are where is if you're moving on, if you're not, if you're stuck, if you're having problems, and you need to try to get to 8, it's going to be able to let me know where can I help you or what's happening. Is this to why you at 7? Okay, because remember I told you 7 is spiritual numbers, and to other cultures or to other readers, sometimes it means a block. Sometimes 7s to some readers is a way for them to be able to get to the next card. I've seen that done before, where 7s are left out until all cards are on the table. Everybody has their system. And that's what I love about this, is about choices. And I always tell people that when you have a choice, love it. That is a great situation, because sometimes some of us, we don't have no choice. And when you take away choice from somebody, you could be robbing them of something that they need for a lifetime. When it comes to choices, I take that very seriously. I tell my family that all the time, and especially my mom. You have a choice whether you want to inhale these problems or you want to shut your door to them. It's up to you. The choice is yours. You like drama? Open up your door. You're going to get drama. Close the door on the drama. You're not going to have no drama. That's a choice that some of us that are going through things, we don't have. We don't have a choice. Okay, so I'm pretty sure by now you get what I'm talking about as far as the adding is concerned, as the different ways that you come up with a number. So when somebody's saying I'm not good at math and stuff like that, and you happen to do a reading with them and you see how quick they are with stuff, it's because they're able to do the reading using numbers, going through highs and lows. Okay? And it is great. And the easier or the quicker you able to subtract or multiply to divide, the quicker the reading. Okay. The 12 is how it's a feminine number. It's our queens. Okay? And our queens are the intuition and the receptive. Mothers have that natural intuitions about them, especially concerning their their children. Sometimes they don't have a clue in their own marriage or in their relationships with other people like that. But when it comes to their kids, they are very intuitive. They'll know if the kid is going through something or not. Whether that kid wants to engage with a conversation with the mom about what's going on or not, she's going to be able to kick into her gut, her intuition, the fact that she's able to be receptive about that situation, to be able to say something's not right. And sometimes even with your doggone girlfriend or your man, you'll be able to say, you know what, something's not right. That's that intuition, that's that gut, that's that inner strength that you have as an individual to be able to say, my ass is not in the damn clouds. I'm not sitting behind some tree waiting for things to fall down. This is real. I have issues. This person has put me through some serious changes. Okay, the 13, the masculine, the authoritative, okay? That's our kings, okay? The stabilizer is supposed to be. Where they're at or where the situation is dominant about. Sometimes we see all these kings come up. And sometimes if you see all these kings and you have a woman that's doing the readings like that, either she has a lot of brothers or boyfriends or whatever the case may be, either that or the way she's looking at her situation as life just shows how aggressive and dominant she is towards her situations and things that she's going through. Because sometimes it's not what we have or the way we approach things, but it's the way we look at things overall, is that we could see how aggressive this person is towards the situation. Okay, we at an hour now. I'm going to go ahead and stop. And I'm going to continue with the next video. Please go to the next video. If you didn't see this video, go to my first one before this one so you can catch up with me, so you can see where I'm at, so that we're able to move on. Once again, subscribe to my channel. Let me know how you think. Let me know what you think. Advice, critics, whatever the case may be. But no bashing. No bashing whatsoever. Because I will report you. I will report you. And I wouldn't even think twice about it. So do not use my channel as some type of forum to sit here to go back and forth. Whether it's with me or with anybody else who replies or make comments about my video. I will not tolerate it. I won't. So, visit my website, www.odanlarouge.com. That's ODANLAKYROUGE.com. Or send me an email or visit the Odan La Rouge Mystic channel. Let me know how you think. Let me know how you feel. And stay tuned for the next video where I go into the meanings of the cards. And we're going to go on from there. Have you guys self a nice day. Be blessed. See you next time.